Hey guys, what is up? Thank you so much for being here for my mid-season winter finale, How to Get Away with Murder live chat. So earlier today, I put up my video with my thoughts about this episode, and apparently most of you don't agree with my thoughts on this episode, and that's okay, but I'll talk about that here in just a second. But if you're in the room right now, go ahead and say hello so I can give you a shout out. Hello, Georgie. Hello, JMG. Hello, Laura. Thank you for being here for the first time or commenting for the first time. Matthew, thank you for being here. Hi, Christian. How are you? I'm doing well. Hi, Dominic. Okay, so we'll start with the death of Simon, which I think was executed really well. And obviously we knew we were going to have graphic images, but that wasn't really the graphic imagery that was mentioned in the promos and throughout the show. So when I say that I think it went too far in some parts, hi, Taylor. Taylor Momsen, Gossip Girl. Hi, Emily. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Wit. Hi, Mikey. Thank you guys so much for being here. So when I said in my video that I think it went too far, a couple people assumed that I was talking about the Simon thing as well as the baby thing. With the Simon thing, I don't feel like it went too far. We've seen that type of imagery in so many different shows, so I don't have a problem with that. You know, my thoughts on this are, well, it's kind of unfortunate, even though I wasn't a fan of Simon. And again, it's the people who are in the Keating 4 now who keep getting involved in shady things, and I understand why they're involved in that, and I understand they want to avenge Wes's death, but again, they caused the death of someone else basically because he wasn't going to die, he wouldn't have been around a gun, he wasn't going to kill himself, anything like that. So you know, the thing about it is, I feel like they tried to redeem his character a little bit, like when he kind of came out to Oliver and when he was like, acting like, you know, he kind of was confused with his life and didn't really know what, I don't know, he was kind of like human for the first time. But then toward the end, like pretty much shortly before his death, he was being a jerk again to Michaela. So did he deserve to die? No, probably not. But at the same time, he was a jerky character. And I'm glad there was more to the episode than just his death because I really don't think anyone cares about him dying. So I thought that scene played out really well. I was surprised how it went down. When I saw the very beginning of the episode and I saw the shock of Oliver about who died, I immediately was like, it's Simon. I knew it was Simon. And it played out that way, but I did not put the pieces together to think that that would be Laurel's gun that accidentally went off, that killed him. I enjoyed all of that. I think that was very shocking. This show always has crazy surprises, so I felt like that was a huge surprise and worked really well. And I think the acting there by especially Oliver and Michaela, or the people who play Conrad and Asia, was really exceptional in that scene. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the baby stuff and what I thought about that, and then I will get to your guys' comments, so you may have to comment again because I'll probably miss some of them. So on my videos, some people seem to be angry at me, which I just don't ever understand. Again, YouTube channels are, for the most part, I think, opinion-based. So if you're mad at me because of my opinion on the show, I find it really bizarre. If you want to share your opinion, that's totally fine. Of course, I ask people what they thought about it. I just will never, ever, for the life of me, understand why people get angry because of someone's opinion on a show, which is fictional, is different than theirs. So, I totally get where they were going with how it played out with Laurel and her baby. So first of all, when I saw that she was losing blood, I knew that wasn't normal. I think a lot of us assumed she was going to give birth in the elevator early, but with the blood and everything, that's not, even having an early birth, that's a big red flag. And I was like very, very concerned. And of course, she ends up being in that old elevator that breaks down. And as you guys know, phones don't work. I knew when she was going to call 911, it wasn't going to work because phones just don't work in elevators, which is really sad. So the whole storyline with that and the fact that how everything played out, I'm totally fine with. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with her having this issue. I think it was Frank that accidentally hit her in the whole scuffle with Frank and Connor. I think that's who it was, but it might have been Connor. It was unintentional where she got hit in the stomach earlier on. So that caused some trauma to her. I guess this is what caused the bleeding. So to me, when they spent so much time showing the baby's body, which I guess the baby's still alive, for a while I was like struggling, like, are they showing a dead baby? Of course it's a doll. You could obviously tell it was a doll. They're not using a real child in this. Yeah, I think it was Frank, right? That's what I think. Obviously, this was unintentional, but it was extremely graphic, and usually graphic stuff doesn't bother me. I watch American Horror Story, and, you know, I watch all kinds of crazy stuff where really crazy, brutal murders happen and whatever. But this was a new one for me, and I've seen some other people comment that they've seen similar birth scenes, maybe dead baby births, or, I don't know, gross stuff involving babies on other shows or movies. So maybe for me, it was just a new concept, but I personally think that I don't care what anyone else says, because people are trying to argue with me on my video comments. I think they wanted to do it for the shock value. I completely get using Annalise as the person trying to save the baby's life because her own baby lost its life. Again, not of her fault. With the cry at the end, I think the baby will live, but I think it was unnecessary to show this bloody doll for so long and just focus on it, and I just found it excessive. I think that they could have used the same storyline and had the same thing happen, not change anything that happened, yet not show as much. I just think there's no way I'm going to change my mind to think that they didn't throw that in there to have some shock value, to have people like, oh my God, they went there to be edgy, to be different, to be like, wow, look what they just did. There was a lot to it, you know. So I'm going to go to your comments now. Again, if you disagree with me, that is totally fine. I just like, I got some like really, people were like irate, which I was kind of shocked by, like in the comments of my video. It was just like, okay, I don't get that. But let me go to your guys' comments now. JS says it was such a long scene. JMG says you understand that some might think it's too graphic, but personally you really like more mature stuff and don't think it would have worked without all the blood. It made it feel more real. Honestly, the blood in the elevator, we kind of seen snippets of that, and I don't really, it's not the blood so much as the issue, it's the body of the baby or the actual baby. I don't think that it's dead. At least, I mean, I hope to God it's not dead after all of that. Frankie thinks that the baby is definitely Wes's. Unfortunately, we did not get this cleared up as to who is the baby's father. So, maybe the first episode in January. I don't know. But I will say, as I think is, I don't know how to say your name, Curie Q says it was really well acted. It was a great episode, but hard to watch. Of course, Viola kills it every single time, and I think Carla, who plays Laurel, did a really good job in the scene as well. It was incredibly believable. I mean, obviously, I'm not criticizing them for not using like a real child, but when they had the close-ups, you could absolutely tell it was a doll. Again, I don't think they should have used a real baby. But JMG thinks it's Frank's. I mean, I'm starting to lean toward the fact that it could be Frank's because they spent so much of this half season going, you know, hinting and saying, you know, is it Frank's baby? Doing the, you know, DNA test for him. So much drama. And with him being the one to accidentally hit her, now it's like he's hurt his own child. And here's the other thing. If the baby survives, I don't think they'll go there with this. But I mean, could there be a chance the baby has some sort of developmental issues or something because they were born early and it looked like they weren't breathing for a while? I know it's a boy, so I'll say he. You know, I don't know if anything is going on with that because it seemed to be that the baby wasn't breathing, or, you know, that's what I was taking. Firkin says it has dark skin. I had trouble determining. I mean, usually I kind of like watching stuff like on my computer or on my iPad because I feel like I can see more details because, like, to be honest, I don't wear contacts or anything, but when I am on my computer, I usually wear like glasses. So if the baby was dark skinned, it might be because I'm watching it from across the room and couldn't tell. So if you guys picked up on that, that is cool. But when I watch stuff like on my couch, sometimes like small details I don't pick up because I just literally can't see things as clearly. Wit Dog says it has to be alive because if it dies, we will lose Annalise. Right. I think that would absolutely kill her if the baby, you know, died. And that would be like a second baby that died. And I think she would take the blame for that. So I agree with you. Taylor says she puts everyone in danger, and then when something bad happens, she gets all the pity. I think you're talking about Annalise here. Ralph says the sorting hat says the baby belongs to Gryffindor. Again, we have the issue. I see Whit talking about what's going to happen with the baby in the future, and Whit saying adoption. I've always said that the baby would not have a role, or they wouldn't have like a child on the show, but you know, who knows? I just feel like it doesn't fit with everything if they continue to have Laurel like part of the show in the same role she's been, unless she takes like time off to raise the kid or something. I don't know. I just don't see how that fits. And the other big thing that happened was that Asher got arrested, which I'm not really sure what led to that, considering Michaela and Oliver were also there, and apparently they weren't arrested. So we've got that going on as well. Hi, Christina. Thank you so much for being here. Luke says the finale was the most stressful and emotional episode ever. This is now your #1 favorite episode. You liked it better than the season 2, episode 9 finale. And Bullet Club is asking about Asher being arrested. So he did pick up the gun. So I don't know if that's what it is. Fingerprints on the gun. That's what Firkin is saying. You know, a lot of things that they did went wrong there. I feel like in the real world, I think that they would figure out that Simon wasn't trying to kill himself, and I think all of those people would go to jail because, you know, forensics. I just don't think they would get away with it, being completely honest, but maybe they won't. I don't know, but I think they will, because that's just the show. Everyone always gets away with everything. And then another surprise was that Dominic was back, who was like the henchman for Laurel's dad and was totally spying on Connor's phone conversation. So we had that element as well. Luke is confused about the relevance of the therapist, which I feel like is one of the worst parts of this season, which I've said in probably every video. I don't understand. I really thought that it would be more would be revealed about him in this episode, and it would make kind of more sense as to why we've had Jimmy Smits even in the show for this season. But I feel like we didn't really get much on that at all, and I feel like there wasn't much to Jimmy Smits' character pretty much the whole first half of the season, which I feel like is a mistake within the show this year, because if we're halfway through the season, and maybe some of you understand what's up with Isaac, you know, but if we're halfway through the season and people are asking, like, what's his deal, especially since he's a famous actor who they brought on the show as a guest, and they wanted to, I think, have a big role for him for this season only, I don't get it. Like, I still feel like that just didn't work. Andre says, since the gun wasn't registered, you think Asher is safe. The autopsy should show that Simon shot himself. So, in a way, Simon did shoot himself. Yes, absolutely. So that'll probably be the thing that makes everyone innocent and no one will be in trouble for that. But I think in the real world, something would seem off, and I think investigators would figure out that it wasn't really just him. Like, and the other thing that would be kind of weird, I guess it happens, but it was like, why would you be shooting yourself in front of those people? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously Michaela was covered in blood. It's like he wanted an audience for the suicide. I mean, like, what led to him? I think people would be asking him, like, what led to him, like, pulling out a gun right there when they were standing around him, like, so close, and shooting himself. Like, it's a little bit weird. So Whit says that Isaac was Wes's therapist. He had to be who he was talking to on the phone. I remember in some live chat, someone told me, I don't know where that came from, because a lot of times, you know, there's rumors that circulate, but I think we had a big conversation about who it was that Wes was calling, and it wasn't this guy. It was like someone else, and now I can't remember it. So, remember they called him Christoph, and we'd always wondered that. And then I remember we talked about it a lot in these live chats, and like many weeks ago or like months ago, and people were saying, like, or someone was saying, yeah, we figured out who he was talking to. It was so-and-so, and like, I have no idea, like, who it was now. So Shamia says Simon's deportation possibly could be used as an excuse. I think so. So he was fearing deportation, and he felt like he had no way out. He didn't want to be deported, so he killed himself. So it's depressing in the fact that He wasn't going to kill himself. None of this was true except for the deportation, but he wasn't going to kill himself. He probably wasn't depressed enough to do that. And basically, they killed another person, the people involved in the Keating Four, plus Oliver. So everyone's implicated in... Is this the first time? No, I guess not. I was going to say Oliver's been implicated in a lot of crimes. So everyone is wrapped up in crimes and has a criminal past now. Anybody who gets involved with Annalise ends up committing a crime or concealing a crime or something. JMG says, how would I compare this winter finale to the other ones? I just haven't really liked this season. I think the finale was okay, but I don't think, to me, it wasn't one of my favorites. I don't really like this season. I think they need something else. I don't know. Maybe season 5 they can get it together. I won't write them off yet because there's definitely been shows that I've watched in some seasons I just didn't like, and I kind of want to be like, oh my god, do I want to keep watching? And then like the next season will be phenomenal. So it just happens sometimes. I used to think this show could like never have bad episodes, but I think for the past couple of seasons, it's kind of struggled for me. And personally, I just haven't liked it as much as I used to. I loved it so much. As far as I've seen a lot of comments about This Is Us, and I still haven't had a chance to watch this week's episode, but I've seen every other, and I think it's very good. I think it's just as good as season 1, and I've got to get back to making those videos, but I love that show, and I saw someone asking if they should watch it, and you absolutely should. It is nothing like How to Get Away with Murder or most of the stuff on my channel, but it's very good. It's really and truly one of the best shows probably ever on TV. I used to love Friday Night Lights, and I thought that it was one of the most excellent shows on TV, but it started getting bad, and it actually got canceled. But to me, this is actually better than that. And I watched Friday Night Lights after it had gotten canceled. Like, I was binging old episodes because someone told me to watch it, and then it got to a point where it got boring, and I was like, I kind of get why it got canceled. But it came back, but that's a whole nother story. Amber was happy Connor was the one. You were happy Connor was the one dead, was the one who wasn't dead, I think you're trying to say. Yeah, I think that's what you're trying to say. Ralph says Simon was number 1 of 3 on your list of who the victim was. Yes, Ralph left a comment like right before the finale, and he had Simon, Connor, and Tegan, which I completely agreed with all of those choices. Tegan actually had no drama in this episode, which was a little surprising because I feel like they've been setting her up for something. But we still have the second half of the season. I'm hoping that we get rid of the Laurel's father drama. I'm hoping he dies, goes to jail forever or something so we can move on from that. Whit says Shonda had a good night last night. Grace, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder ended pretty crazy. I will say that we can always expect. I stopped watching Scandal even though I know people love it. Like, I used to really like it, then I got bored with that. Like, my mom watches Scandal and she thinks it's amazing still. So, but I think, and I've never watched Grace, but I think that with Shonda's stuff, like every finale usually is fantastic, or shocking, or I wouldn't say this one was fantastic in my opinion, but usually crazy stuff happens, stuff's going to go down. Like there's never going to be a finale where like, you're like, oh my God, like literally nothing happened. Like that was boring. I don't think you could ever call her finales boring, at least based on this show and what I've seen of Scandal. Again, I haven't seen Grey's, but apparently some people hated the finale. Scandal, I guess, probably has a next, like another half a season and then it's over, right? So I'm wondering again how much longer this show will go. I don't see it being like a Grey's Anatomy. I don't see it going on for billions of years. I don't know. Whit got bored with Scandal too, but it's the last season, so he stuck with it. It was a good cliffhanger. Okay. I know a lot of crazy stuff goes down on there just because it's always on before this show, and I see the craziest stuff taking place before this show starts, and I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? Ralph says Laurel can still die from complications. It definitely would have looked like, I would have assumed that she was dead or is going to die, but we've seen so many flash forwards where she literally seems okay and up and talking and not on like life support or anything that I think she'll be okay, which I also think is kind of a mistake with the show because they could have drawn that out. They could have not shown us those flash forwards of her talking and everything. And they could have made us think that the baby's going to die, she's going to die, and then I think we pretty much know Simon died. I just got bored with Scandal. I don't know. I tried to watch. I never watched it from the beginning, but I was watching it like binging it like after it became popular. And maybe season 3 or 4, I don't even know. I don't know what season it's on now, but I just started getting really bored with it. I started out like loving it. I don't know. Yeah, Bonnie and Nate they were pretty boring. Nate's kind of boring in general, Taylor, so... Firkin thinks we'll have 2 more seasons of this. If you have commented and I missed it, which I miss a lot because I've been talking a lot, just comment again if it's something we haven't gone over or for something you wanted me to answer. Christian says, you guess they did it that way to make Annalise feel better since her baby died. She could save this one. Yeah, that's exactly what they were going for there. Laura says, we know Laurel is alive. Yeah, I think she's alive. I don't think she's going to have her life in danger, although, again, they could have had us wondering because she did not look well at all in that elevator. I mean, that was some craziness. Shamia says it's very odd that we don't actually see the actual flash forwards of the night. Episode 9 will probably be a part 2. So there were a lot of flash forwards, and that's a good point to bring up, that we have been seeing throughout this half season. Pieces that took place in the hospital, like when Michaela was mistaken for Annalise, all that kind of stuff that was not played out in this episode. So that means we have that to be saved for the second half. And I don't know how much more like drama or mystery or craziness is going to happen in the second half of the season, but I'm sure there will be. Ralph says Asher would have been arrested based on exactly what he will say to the cops. And then Ralph's also saying that Michaela wiped the gun down. Yes, I think with like a Kleenex or something. Andre's wondering if Asher is going to have a breakdown in prison. Maybe, because we know he can't handle a lot. JMG says Peter Nowalk has seen that the episode 1 flash forward will be, or has said that the episode 1 flash forward will be addressed in episode 9. So we'll probably definitely get back to some of the stuff that we had seen in flash forwards but did not see in real time. Bullet Club says, Season 1, Michaela freaks out during the killings. Then this season, Michaela knows how to deal with the situation. Yeah, she did really well. I like the way her character has progressed. And, I mean, it was pretty crazy to have her all covered with blood, like, walking down to that party and freaking out. And people were like, oh my God, what the heck is going on? And, like, she was able to, like, hug Connor but tell him information that he needed to know. So I think that played out really, really well. Ralph says Connor will survive the guy in the stairwell either by killing him or Frank will save him. So we have that situation too. So I don't know if Dominic is going to try to kill Connor at this point when we resume with that scene or what. But we know that guy when he's around, when he's basically like the Grim Reaper or something, you know, like, you know, someone's going to die. Hi, Jocelyn. Thank you for being here. Hi, Henry. Thank you for being here. Bergen says Michaela has been your fave this season. And Connor, I think Michaela, I really like what they did with her character a whole lot. Like, I think she's been amazing this season. And Connor's been interesting because he's been going through a lot. It took me so long to just realize it was him because he looks so different now. Frankie says, you don't think Simon is dead. Why not have him die straight away? Well, I think for the dramatic effect, but I don't see the point in keeping him alive, except the fact that he does know some shady crap is going down, and the fact that he didn't kill himself, and he could say, hello, I did not kill myself. It was Laurel's gun. So if they want to cause drama there, they can do that if they keep him alive. But I thought he was like flatlining, so I don't know. They didn't officially be like, oh God, he's dead, but you know. Emily says you forgot Annalise basically admitted she has feelings for Isaac. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I think we all kind of saw that coming. It was because basically that's how she started falling for her husband, Sam, or ex-husband, or late husband, or dead husband. I don't know. Shamia thinks Simon will work with Laurel's dad if he lives. I mean, if Simon is alive, that's some drama. So maybe we should keep him alive because that's going to cause a lot of problems. Taylor doesn't know what they're going to do with Connor's character since he dropped out of law school. I'm sure they'll figure something crazy out, even though he's been like on a really good path though since then. Mikey is talking about Scream, which I haven't really, I'll probably look into that a little bit later because it doesn't come back till March. Whit says they showed so much about them trying to keep him alive. So you think Simon lives. You're right. The show does love drama. It would be better for the show if he lives, but I'm really tired of him. So, like, what happens then? If he lives, doesn't he really need to die again? Doesn't someone need to kill him because he knows too much? Like, what are we going to do with that? That's a liability. Ralph says if Laurel's dad didn't pay the ransom in the past, then he has no problem killing his daughter. I definitely think that he would kill his daughter, have his daughter killed. Yeah, remember when she was kidnapped and he did not try to get her back. So whatever. He doesn't care about her. He's a terrible person. JMG hopes Annalise and Isaac are going to get together and the therapy sessions will stop. Their romantic relationship is much more interesting. The only issue is that he's like a super troubled person and she's a super troubled person, so they might be like really toxic for each other because if she's going to be with someone, I think it needs to be like a stable person who doesn't have like dependency issues. So I think that would just cause more drama for her. And I think she's really trying to do better, guys. Like, really. She's still shady and not a great person, but I do think she's trying to, like, turn the page, you know, and she's trying to save this baby. She probably did save this baby, you know. Yeah, so Westworld is coming back next year. We've had this whole year break, and supposedly in spring 2018, which is exciting. If you guys haven't watched that, it's on HBO Go. You should definitely watch it so that you can join in with us next year. It's really good. I loved it, and it has, like, an incredible cast. It's been so long since I've seen it. I need to, like, refresh my memory. Luke says there's a new interview about when How to Get Away with Murder is going to end, and they said it depends on where Annalise ends up in the show. So that should be interesting. Firkin wants Annalise with Michaela's boss. Well, we could go there, too. Although I kept thinking Michaela was going to be with her boss, but I mean, I know she's got... I think that Asher would totally freak if so. Okay, Matthew, you're saying your question didn't get answered. Let me see. What is the question? Do I think that Laurel would have been killed if she arrived at the original location instead of meeting up with Annalise? And I think maybe that was something Ralph was trying to answer, and I didn't really know where that was coming from, but now that makes sense. So, possibly. And I kind of answered that, so I think, yeah, maybe. Maybe. That's probably not a bad thought at all. And maybe they'll show us that, like, in the future, that was kind of the plan with one of their flash forwards, or then it would kind of be like a flashback at that point. Shamia says that Isaac might be working for Frank's dad and trying to get information through Annalise. Everyone thinks it was the wife on the phone when Annalise saw him for the first time, but what if it was her dad? So Frank's dad? Why do I not know who Frank's dad is? Do you mean Frank's dad or Laurel's dad? JMG says you love how it's How to Get Away with Murder Chat, and we constantly talk about other shows. I know. I'm wondering how annoying that is to some people. Like, it doesn't really bother me, but unless the whole conversation switches to that because we have nothing else to talk about. I think you can pay for HBO Go in different ways. Like, if you have HBO subscription, you get that included. But I've also seen, like, you can pay for, like, maybe a month or something. I think you can pay for, like, a small subscription. I really don't know because I have an HBO subscription, so I just get HBO Go for free. If you have any friends who have it, you know, your friends in your real life, maybe they'll let you use their logins or something. I can't do that for you guys because I would have to do it for, like, so many people, and that would just get crazy. But maybe you have someone that you know in real life who would, like, help you out. I don't know. Matthew says you wonder if Frank and Laurel's relationship will change since she had the flashback remembering that he endangered her baby. I don't think so because he really didn't do it on purpose. But when he was strangling, I mean, he wasn't trying to hurt her, but when he was strangling Connor, that was, like, really intense, probably unnecessary. That was pretty freaking crazy. Like, I didn't think he would kill him, but it was a lot. Don't you guys think? I definitely thought so. JMG says for a final season, you want the Keating Four to kill Annalise and have to cover it up using everything she's taught us in the show. That wouldn't be bad, right? We do need to have a random live chat. We should do that next week because pretty much everything is over or on break because Riverdale's on a break. I don't know if This Is Us is on a break, but I need to do a video next week on This Is Us anyway, on, like, a lot of episodes. So we need to do that too. But yeah, we can definitely do a video or a chat where we're just chatting next week because those are fun as well. Shamia says you can pay for HBO Now monthly, but you can download HBO Go and use it with your HBO subscription. So if you have an HBO subscription, you already have HBO Go, just to let you know. You don't have to pay extra for that. So if anyone out there doesn't realize that, that's some interesting information because you've got it right there. And I really do like HBO Go. Christian hopes that Colliver gets engaged or married in the second part of the season. I think that will actually happen. There's just, you know, some stuff has been in the way this half season. So This Is Us has 2 more episodes left. So are they going to still have an episode next week, even though it's like Thanksgiving week? Probably doesn't really matter, but it's so good, though. I really like it. Bullet Club says, so do I think Laurel's dad will come after the Keating Four? I mean, possibly. I think this guy is completely insane, so anything can happen, basically. Yeah, I did do a lot of live. I did a lot of live chats with a bunch of shows. Well, I still do a lot of live chats with all the shows that I do. I just wasn't here last week, but I think I did a ton of PLL live chats and stuff because it had been on for so many years and the whole series was ending, so it got like more chats. So I don't remember if I've ever done another show on this channel that has actually, the series has ended. Like, it wasn't canceled, but like the series has ended. That's probably the only one so far. So I would definitely, like, if this series was ending, we would do more with it, but it's still going, you know. Hi, the Nubian. Thank you so much for being here. Andre says, since How to Get Away with Murder and American Horror Stories on a break, which shows am I watching next? That's a really good question. Now, this is kind of the time of year. I definitely remember last year where there was just like nothing going on. It's kind of like that slow time around Christmas, and then nothing really happens again until January. So I like to do stuff that I can start at the beginning that's actually on, and I don't know if probably nothing is going to start up new. Of course, Riverdale still has a couple more episodes, so I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to go back to doing This Is Us videos and finish that out for... So is This Is Us taking a break, or is it over? I feel like maybe it's just taking a break. Yeah, This Is Us comes back next month. Okay. Yeah, so... yeah, so this is kind of a slow time. But what I've been talking about on my other videos that I've done lately is that I'm on Riff. I have not been on Riff in 2 weeks because I was gone all of last week, and then I've spent all of this week just trying to catch up with my life, basically. So that information is in the down bar below. And I'm probably going to start being on there again next week, and I'll probably be on there a ton, like in the month of December. And that's a way for you to sign up for free. You just follow me like you follow me here. You watch Netflix shows with me. I'm still watching Slasher Season 1 and Stranger Things Season 1. Even if you don't have Netflix, it still allows you to watch whatever show I'm watching or whatever show whoever you're watching on there is watching. I mean, what I'm trying to say is when you sign up for Riff, you don't get like a free Netflix subscription or anything, but you can access the show that whoever, you know, personality you're watching is watching. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to me, that way you would know when I'm going to be on there. Also on Twitter, I will always tweet out that I'll be on there. It'll send a little alert saying, hey, Kelly's getting ready to be on, or she's on right now. So that's going to be a place that I will be a lot until these shows come back or until new shows start. Also, with that being said, if you guys know of any shows that are starting in January, like actually starting, not stuff that I need to go back and watch old seasons or anything like that, stuff that kind of is along this genre that you think I should check out, go ahead and start letting me know now. I probably, again, do not have time to go back and watch multiple seasons of stuff to catch up with something. We know that this show is going to come back in January. I guess This Is Us is probably coming back. Riverdale is still going to be around, so there's still going to be shows going on. American Horror Story will not be back, so it's not going to be back until next fall, so that one's over. But pretty much everything I've been covering lately is going to come back in the winter, so basically in a month. And I've had a lot of people ask about American Crime Story. Is that something that is starting up soon, or did it just start, or what? Because I've always wanted to watch that, but I haven't. And then the Versace story, Shamia is saying, is coming. Anybody know when that is? And this is stuff that you guys can comment on my videos or tweet to me. I just need to make like a list on my computer or something to remind myself like this show starts up in January or whatever, besides like Riverdale and how I know that those are coming back, so I definitely won't forget to watch those again when they come back. January 17th, I think, is American Crime Story. Okay, so I think that's one of those kind of things that's a standalone, right? So I don't need to watch the first season to understand what's going on. That's definitely something I'd be willing to check out because I do probably need to add 1 or 2 more shows in January since American Horror Story is over. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me know. Hopefully it's... So apparently I do need to watch season 1. Okay. I don't know. I didn't know. I thought that was one of those shows where like every season was different, but yeah, I may have some time. There's 10 episodes. We'll see. I may have some time to watch those. Ransom on CBS is coming on January 1st. I haven't heard of that one, Emily, but I will look into that. And Shamia is saying American Crime Stories standalone, which makes my life much better because that way I don't have to catch up on anything. Oh, okay. So the first season was really good with Sarah and Randall from This Is Us. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Death Note. I don't know anything about that. What channel is that on? Is that a new show or is that something that just started? If it just started really recently, it's a possibility I could get into that. But If it's been on for a long time, I don't know. The Nubian says nothing triggers you like Laurel's character, so you don't like her. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, but anyway, let's see. Death Note is on Netflix. Well, that could be something that I could watch on Riff, because Netflix, unfortunately, has a bad relationship with YouTube. Well, I could definitely do like recaps of stuff. The only other issue with Death Note is that people love to spoil Netflix stuff over here, so I don't usually do anything until I watch the whole thing because it's an anime. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be something I would watch if it's like a cartoon kind of thing. I don't know. I could check it out, but I don't know. I'm not really into that kind of thing, so yeah, so with Netflix, unfortunately, usually what I have to do when it comes to YouTube is to watch a whole season of something, then come make a video about it because people just love to say, oh, by the way, the main character kills herself at the end. You know, anyway, so it's just like, are you serious? So, yeah, that kind of stuff happens. But I just want to thank you guys for being here for this half of the season of How to Get Away with Murder. And I know a lot of you guys have been here the entire time I've covered this show on my channel, so thank you so much. If you're just finding me on here because of this show, of course, I will be covering the second half, so please subscribe. Thumbs up if you enjoy these videos. Again, if you don't agree with me, that's also fine. Don't ever feel like you aren't allowed to post your opinion or whatever. I just don't understand when people are like actually angry. It's like there's so much craziness in this world and people want to be angry at someone's opinion of a TV show, which is totally fictional. I don't get it. But anyway, but I'm going to let you guys go. Again, sign up for me for Riff and subscribe to me. That's all totally free so that you can catch me on there within the next month or so. I'll still be on YouTube. Again, Riverdale's still happening. I'm going to do some This Is Us stuff. And if you want to tweet me more story or show ideas that are starting up in January, February that are new, let me know. I will definitely be looking to add a couple of more shows. So again, thanks for this live chat. It was so much fun. And I am excited to see what happens in the second half of this season. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I hope you have a really good weekend. Bye, guys.